You are Locked On Coogs, your daily podcast on the Houston Cougars, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Park Rangers Locked On Coogs here. Speaking of week one, Houston opens as a 22.5-point favorite against the Stephen F. Austin Lumberjacks. Sidebar, got to be one of the best mascots in college football. Lumberjacks are certainly a fun mascot. I don't know if I'd pick Stephen F. Austin to be my Lumberjack, but that's the history teacher in me. Now, listen, I know I had Corey on last week, and Corey's high on Stephen F. Austin and all the stuff they've got coming back. That 22.5-point spread, the over-under set at about 55 right now, with some room for movement before kickoff. That means they're looking at a game they're predicting like 39 to 17-ish, right? And I think that is interesting because I kind of feel like Houston gets closer to 50 in this game. Now, last week, Corey was high on these guys and kind of explained why. So go check that out in the catalog. But he also sees this team as a team that returns a lot, and that's why he's so high on them, is the consistency and continuity of the roster at Stephen F. Austin should provide for a more interesting opening game than a team that's been fairly fluid. Houston's got a lot of new faces on it, and while they're deeper and more talented at a few spots, that I think is shifting where he thinks it's going to be a closer game, maybe the 22.5-point spread. Interesting to see Stephen F. Austin not get poached a lot in modern college football. They were 4-3 last season in conference, 3 losses by combined 13 points, so they were close. Biggest blowout was a 15-point loss to FBS North Texas in Denton. They also had a 4-point loss to McNeese in what was technically a non-conference game, but I digress. They also have a pro-caliber strong wideout in Kylan Harris. Kylan Harris is 5'10", 165 pounds, but when you watch him play, he plays at a faster speed than his track times indicate. He's hard to keep a hand on. Really good wide receiver. He plays in a lot of different spots too. Stephen F. Austin runs really fast-paced offense and really tries to take advantage of mismatches and get you out of sync and whatever, and test your discipline both with your eyes, your feet, everything. And they move Harris around a lot to do that, to take advantage of that. Great feet, great hands, plays fast. So they're impressive at that spot. Quarterback Sam Vidlak is a net positive. He's originally an Oregon State commit. They also went through Boise State and Montana before getting Stephen of Austin. Was his first season as a real significant on-field player and participant last year at Stephen of Austin, and started 9 games in that season, had 27 touchdowns and just 4 interceptions in those 9 games. He's not a runner. And looking at his discrepancy between his North Texas game and the other 8 games he played, I would anticipate Houston really dialing it up and getting after him. He's not super mobile and mobile, listed at about 6'1". He's not like a statue or anything, but I think they can get after him a little bit up front, especially with the depth of alignment and things like that. He, for reference, was Vidlak was a 67.4% completion on the year against North Texas, a high blitz team. He was 51.3% completions. He threw 4 picks all season, threw 1 of them against North Texas. He also took 2 sacks in that game. They got after him quite a bit, and I think that you'll see Houston try and do the same thing. To their credit, Cobe Cartho is an aggressive coach, and they're going to come out guns a-blazing in a lot of ways, anticipate tricky special teams plays, and anticipate NASCAR speed offense, anticipate sellout blitzes on defense. They're going to go out on Thursday night trying to become the opening of SportsCenter Friday morning, right? Because frankly, if they upset Houston on Thursday night, they probably do lead off SportsCenter on Friday morning with it. Right now, they've got plenty of players from Houston. By my count, if I'm reading it right, they got 34 from the greater Houston area. They have 9 guys on FBS rosters last year, including Houston's own Torian Capagel. So, I guess there's that. I don't worry about him giving secrets away necessarily. Change of coordinators on all 3 coordinators since Torin left. So I don't think there's that kind of worry necessarily. in the FCS world, they were top 8 in scoring last season. They do return a quarterback, and frankly, they were top 8 in scoring, and he missed 3 games. So they're really good at scoring the football in that division, in that level. Will play fast and physical. I just think over the course of the game, Houston's going to wear them out. I also think that Houston's got its own, we'll say at a national perspective, undervalued level of speed in the way that they'll be playing effectively. Nagel's not a NASCAR guy, but they've got a lot of speed and got that kind of stuff in their repertoire. And frankly, they also, with weapons like McGarry and Kozal, can those guys being tight ends, I should say, that can split in line and off the ball. They'll probably be able to run a lot of different type of things without needing to change personnel. Right. Same thing with like Dean Connors being a very versatile running back. When he's in the game, he can be a pass catching running back, a blocking running back, or a traditional running back. And those kinds of options, that optionality gives this offense a lot of juice. I get why Vegas has Houston not breaking 40 in this game. But I also really see this game between the way Wegman has played against, honestly, inferior opponents when he was at A&M, the way that this offense, is going to take them by surprise. It's not, they don't have film on us either, whereas Houston's got decent film on what these guys at Stephen Boston look like when they play together because of all those returning pieces, right? I think that it's worth pointing out that a big deal last year was not that the receivers weren't good enough to do things. There was no passing game. You return a pretty strong receiving room where I don't know how you organize 1 through 6, but all 6 of those first guys out are pretty strong. DBs, you got some new names, obviously, but like Latrell McCutcheon should be able to keep up with Kylan Harris. Rook Brown should be able to keep up with Kylan Harris from Wyoming. Mark Stampley, like they've got guys that can find him out there. I'm not JD Rim. I'm not worried about this in the same kind of way, which of course, knock on wood will mean that I'm the meme on the front of the ESPN stuff or whatever it is on Friday morning. I don't mean to say that 22-point spread is disrespectful. That's not fair. The over-under being 55 with the 22.5-point spread, I do feel like it's a little interesting. And I will break the game down in more thoroughly, I guess, as we get to it for a preview episode on Thursday morning. But I saw that line as I was getting ready. I was like, I need to talk about that for a second because that just sticks out to me as a little bit odd. Speaking of a little bit odd, the SEC is running away from the Big 12. Yes, you heard that correctly. But first, today's show is brought to you by our buddies. I'm probably supposed to say this part where you subscribe, we keep our jobs, and blah, 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 right? Anyway.